Today on Mike Attempts, burning weeds with a propane torch. I decided to buy this torch because it took me almost 3 hours just to pull the weeds that were growing in the gravel along these large rocks. This isn't a review of a propane torch, it's a test to see how effective it is to burn weeds. I'll also show you what the weeds look like 1, 2, and 3 weeks after using the torch. The torch is easy to light. Just barely open the propane tank valve, then open the torch valve just enough to hear the gas hissing. Use a grill lighter in one of the slots to ignite the gas. Then use the torch valve to adjust the flame to blue with an orange tip. A squeeze of the trigger really turns up the heat. I'm going to incinerate the weeds in this area and then just wilt them in the next area. While blasting them is more fun, it uses more propane. The goal is to get rid of the weeds in the shortest amount of time while spending the least amount of money. Also, it's very wet out here today, but if it isn't wet while you're doing this, make sure you have a hose or a fire extinguisher close by just in case. Supposedly, all you need to do is wilt the leaves with the flame to kill the weeds. So in this area, that's all I'm going to do. When I started, I wasn't squeezing the trigger at all. And while it worked to wilt the leaves, it was taking way too long. I ended up just barely squeezing the trigger and moving the torch a lot faster than I did in the first section. This torch has other uses as well, such as melting snow and ice, lighting a bonfire, or even preheating thick steel before welding. This is what the incinerated area looks like when it's all done. And this is what the wilted area looks like. Next, I'll show you what the weeds look like 1, 2, and 3 weeks later. 1 week later, the incinerated area still looks great, aside from one clump of what appears to be grass starting to grow. The wilted area looks pretty good, but you can see some new sprouts coming from the centers of the weeds. Further down, I don't know if this is regrowth or new weeds, but it appears that only one type of broadleaf weed is emerging. 2 weeks later, the incinerated area is still looking pretty good. That grass clump has gotten a bit bigger, and there are a few other tiny green weed sprouts popping up. Some types of weeds are regrowing in the wilted area, but other types appear to have been completely killed. This one type of broadleaf weed, which might be dandelions, must have a deeper root system because it's the only type coming back in this area. 3 weeks later, and the incinerated area still looks good. Yeah, some weeds are regrowing, but compare it to before I used the torch and I think it looks great. The crabgrass at the start of the wilted area just didn't get enough heat and doesn't seem to be having any problem growing back. Further down in the wilted area, all that seems to be growing are dandelions. If you look back at what this area looked like before, it's still a big difference. I'm pretty happy with the weed torch. Pulling weeds by hand gives longer lasting results, but I could burn them twice a year in a fraction of the time. If you have some weeds that need burning, check the description below for a link to the torch. Feel free to rate this video, add your comments and questions below, and subscribe for more.